Every day, we generate huge amounts of data from YouTube views to online shopping. But how do computers organize and analyze all this information? In this course, we will learn data analysis using Python and Pandas. So, let's begin. Welcome to Bytes Coders, my dearest students. At first, we will take a look at the course syllabus in a glimpse. Now let us begin with learning the first thing, which is data. So data, firstly be clear, data is not information. Both are not same. Data means what? Raw facts and figures. So raw facts and figures means what? Let's say just a marks. If I say 90, if I say name of a student like Rita, if I just give a name of a school like let's say XY public school, so all of these words, or let's say all of these values in single, they do not have a meaning. So data is always unstructured and unprocessed. Now when we store it in a structured format, and let's say we say that Rita is a student of XY public school who has scored 90 in her last exam or in the final exam, so then that becomes information. Okay, so just remember that data is basic values, just the numbers. So we have data everywhere in the world roaming around us. Let it be the number of views on a YouTube video. Okay, we'll move to the next topic, which is data analysis. Now, what is analysis? Analyzing means what? Analyzing means examining the data. Now, we have to do a few things. Now, firstly, we collect the data. Then we organize the data. We store it in a structured format. Okay. Then we analyze the data and finally draw the conclusions. Okay. So, let's say for example, let's think of a e-commerce site. Okay, let's think of a e-commerce site. You can think of any, whichever is your favorite. Let's say Amazon. Okay, so Amazon has a customer who is constantly searching for laptops for a few days. Okay, so Amazon is now analyzing the data of this user and it is understanding the need of the user. Based on that, it is showing it the recommended laptops. These things are very common. Every day you all are using your smartphones, your computers, and you get to see these things. You come across these things not only in Amazon, but you will find that your data is actually shared all over, right? Anyways, so that's how companies are actually analyzing and tracking the data to increase their sales. Yes. Okay, next topic is big data. So big means what? Something is very large. Large means extremely large and complex data sets we are talking about. Okay, not just hundreds or thousands or lakhs, even more than that. So huge volume of data, like on social media, on online shopping sites, the banking transactions, the YouTube views. So all of these data are like really very big data. Okay, and let me tell you one thing, that big data is created every every second. Like huge volume of data is created. Huge volume. Now what do you think? Such huge volume of data, is it very simple to handle and analyze? Like, just think for a second. Like, to handle such huge data, or let's say the big data, we need better data structures for that. See, in Python we already had lists and dictionaries, which you have learned in the previous class, and you know what, they are not sufficient enough to handle such data. I'll give you an example and say why. See, let's say in lists you are storing the names of students. Okay, so let's say we have names of students, and many more. In another list, let's say list 2, we are having their marks. Okay, now handling the such huge volume of data in this way using lists is totally a no, right? Dictionary is better than handling data through lists, although, but dictionary doesn't have the options like filtering data, okay, then sorting data. So we don't have such basic facilities as well to do using a dictionary, okay, which we can handle using something bigger than that. Now what is that? So like Python is actually searching for a better analysis tools, and you can see somebody is peeping up from here, right? So who is this guy? It's something we all know. It's a panda, right? Okay. So yes, here comes pandas. Okay, so it's such a very useful and a very cool dude. It's like a very cool dude. You can see like it's so popular recently in the real world. It's so popular. Okay, so what actually pandas is? Pandas is a very powerful Python library which is used for data analysis and data manipulation. Means what? See, we can do some things like organize the data, clean data, analyze data, handle large data sets. So lots of things related to the data can be done using pandas. We'll take a look at it more deeply. Like see, in real world, actually in real world pandas is used. Don't just think that it's just a part of class 12 syllabus. No, it's not that. It's really used in very popular field of computer science, which we call as data science. Have you heard of data science? If not, just search for the term on the internet. Okay, so data science, machine learning. What is machine learning? From where is machine learning coming? The biggest and the most popular thing on earth right now, which is AI, right? So how we train the AI models, that is machine learning. So think in fields like data science and machine learning, a library like pandas is used, which is a part of your syllabus. Then also for finance analysis, social media analysis. Social media platforms are like, they are using it for getting more engagement on their sites, increase more views and all that. And even not to forget for scientific research. Okay, so these are the real world usage of pandas library. Now it is very important for every student to understand what a library actually is in Python. See, a library is a collection of pre-written functions and tools which helps us to perform tasks very easily. Okay, I'll explain library. In the previous class, in class 11th, you have come across a few libraries which are math. If you don't remember, I'll tell you. We can write codes like import math. Inside math, we have functions like pow, like to find the power of two numbers. You just give two numbers, then it would find what is 2 cube. Okay, you can find the square root of a number using the math module. Just write math dot square root and you put a number inside it, like let's say 49. So it will find the square root of 49. Okay, then you would have also come across another one, which is numpy. We have modules like random module, a very useful module. Like it helps us to randomly generate numbers, values. Okay, numpy, you will use numpy in this class. If you have not done in the previous class, don't worry. Numpy is also a numerical library. It's called as numerical Python. What else libraries do we have in Python? Like something very interesting, which is Pygame. It's used for creating games in Python. Okay, creating games. Then we have tkinter. Using tkinter, we can create Windows based application. Windows based applications. Not only Windows based, if you are using a different OS like a Mac OS, you can also create applications for that using tkinter. Okay. Next, in your syllabus, the libraries that you have is Pandas, which we are learning right now. Nextly, we will come across matplotlib. So just understand that in Python, we have thousands of libraries, and every library is like a different world in itself. Okay, so if you go into Pandas, you have so many things to learn over there. If you go into matplotlib, there's so much to learn over there. Okay, so all the libraries have some functions inside it which we use. These are all pre-built functions already written. You just use them. That's it. Nextly, whenever we are diving into the actual Pandas programming, the first and foremost thing to understand is you need to import Pandas while you would be writing a code. Now, let me tell something over here. If you haven't completed the Pandas installation in your computer, please do it. I have shared a link to a video that helps you to understand how you can install Pandas in your computer system. Okay, so just check the description box and it will help you to install. Okay, so firstly that is needed, and then whenever you are writing a code, you just need to write import Pandas as PD. So here, what is Pandas? Pandas over here is the name of the library, right? Name of library is Pandas. So what is PD? Do you give nickname to your friends? Like somebody's name is Abhimanyu and we call them Abhi, or Ab, maybe. I don't know what you guys really call your friends. So whatever is our name, we can give it a short name. So same thing we are doing in Python. We don't use the huge library names. We use aliases, a short alias like PD. Now let me tell you something. In your books, in your schools, everywhere you will see that always everyone is using PD. But remember, PD is not a fixed one. You can use anything in place of PD. Okay, I'll tell you. So if you want, you can write import Pandas as Pan. That also works because this is the name that you are giving. But a popular and it's like a common practice to use PD. So that's what all of us are accustomed to, and we always use that. In your books, in your question papers, everywhere you will maybe find PD. Always. Okay. So you can just stick to it. Now, we have now the Pandas data structure to understand. So Pandas mainly provides us with two data structures. One is called as a series, like a long column you can see over here. Second one is a data frame. It looks like a table with rows and columns, right? So in series, we have one column, right? In data frame, we don't have just one column. We can have 2, 3, 4, 5, as many columns as we want. So n number of column and rows. That's what we have in a data frame. So a data frame can actually store more data in it. Okay. Now let me tell you a few more things about series and data frame. A series, like you saw, it can store data in one column, and it is a one-dimensional data structure. Remember this, okay? One-dimensional data structure. I'm writing DS in short. And a data frame, it can store data in rows and columns. What else? It is two-dimensional. Okay, so just remember these two things about series and data frame. Nextly, what you will remember, whenever you are creating a Python series, how you will create it. So we'll take a look at that. See, a series is a one-dimensional labeled array. It can store what? It can store numbers, strings, objects, lots more are there. It's not mentioned, like float. Okay, it can also store float data. It can also store numpy arrays, okay, which we call as ND array. I don't know how many of you actually know about ND array, but don't worry, we will learn about it. Now this is how a series actually stores data. Okay, on the left hand side what you can see is 0, 1, 2, 3. These are the indexes. Okay, the index of the value, similar to what you have learned in our list. Okay, let me come here. Like for a list, I hope everyone knows how to create a list. So 20, 30, 40, 50. But we didn't have the indexes written or shown on the output, right? But the indexes were there. In case of a series, what is happening? It is directly displayed in the output. If this is a series data that you are creating, so it is directly displayed on the output. This part is called as the index and this part is called as the data. Okay. Now, to end with this class, we will take a look at a very simple Python program to create a series. So the first step that we have done is we have written import pandas as PD. Secondly, we have created a list actually, which contains values like 10, 20, 30, 40. And then here, this is the main line, S equals to. So S is the name of the series object, and then we say S equals to PD dot. Now PD, the alias we are using over here, right? PD dot series. Make sure S is capital for series. Now see, after writing series, you have to put a parenthesis. Inside the parenthesis, if you put the name of the list, then the values of the list gets inside the series. Okay, so that's how we create series. See, series is not something like, it will be, it is having some different brackets. No, it is not like that. Okay. Like, let's say for example, we have learned for lists, it was a square bracket. For dictionary, it's a curly bracket. For a tuple, it's a round bracket, like that. But here for series, there is no such bracket, no brackets. What we have this PD dot series. That's what we have to write, PD dot series. And inside the parenthesis, you can directly create a list or anything, like anything can be passed inside this. Okay, what can be passed, we are going to explore in the next class for that. Okay, but just I'll tell you, we can pass our list, our dictionary, our string. Okay, lots of things can be passed inside the series function to create a series. Okay. And notice one more thing, in the output it also says something like D type, which is int 64. So int 64 over here means that the data is of integer data type. Okay, and 64 means what? 64 bits. So 64 bits of memory. It's like that. It's little bit deep. What is 64 bit? What is int 64? We will discuss that in another session, not in this session. So that's it, my dear students, for this session. I hope you have learned something at least from this session. Just drop your comments below and let me know how was the session. If you have any questions is in your mind, any doubts are there, do drop a message in the comments and I'll be happy to reply to that. If required, I'll also make a video based on your queries and doubts. Okay, so thanks for watching and best of luck, and don't forget to subscribe. Okay, just subscribe to Bytes Coders and watch the next class, attend the next class in the next week. Okay, till then, bye bye.